So it is a new era at Manchester United with a familiar face in charge after Michael Carrick was appointed head coach yesterday until the end of the season. He says he knows what it takes to succeed at Old Trafford, and despite just the Premier League to focus on from now until May, there is a clear goal for his team.
Just to be in this position, to be here every day, to working with the responsibility of working for Manchester United and in any form, you know, excites me. But to be sat here as the head coach and looking after the first team, that responsibility, it's a huge buzz. So I'm kind of holding it in as a little bit as much as I can. But you know, the excitement's there. So I know what it's about. I can feel it. As I said, the supporters are incredible. And we need to go on this journey together and feed off each other. And that's the idea. Listen, we all love games. We'd love to be playing games, of course, and more regular. But I think it's clear what's in front of us. It's a really clear focus, a clear goal now to have a real big end to the season. And we got to shape the team and put the team in the right place to be able to do that. But I'm fully aware that we're onto something new here, and we need to grow. We need to improve. We need to go in a good direction, which I feel we will. But I'm not getting clouded by the past is great, and that's going to do my job for me, and that's going to make us a good team now. We know we've got to put that in place, and I fully believe in the boys that we can do that.
Right, let's head to Carrington for the first time this morning and speak to our football correspondent, Rob Dorsett. Look, it took United 8 days to get someone in after Ruben Amorim left. We knew it was going to be Carrick for quite a while. Why did it take so long for everything to be formalised, do you feel?
Well, I think first and foremost, Manchester United didn't want to change their head coach mid-season, but that pretty fundamental breakdown in the relationship between Jason Wilcox, the director of football, and some of the other bosses and Ruben Amorim meant that they felt they had to sack him, and so it was a standing start that they were doing. But I think crucially, they decided pretty early that they wanted Michael Carrick, and the negotiations with him went pretty quickly. By Monday night, everything was agreed verbally with him. Talks going on beyond 11 p.m, I'm told. But then yesterday was all about getting all of that agreement down into some sort of contractual form with the lawyers on both sides, and crucially 4 new members of backroom staff that Michael Carrick wanted to bring in with him after discussions very closely with Jason Wilcox. And so 4 new employees, 4 new contracts, 4 separate groups of lawyers, all of that had to be done, and I think United wanted to get that all across the line at the same time so they could announce it as one package, if you like, one group, one team of coaches that were going to take Manchester United forward for the remainder of this season. But we have seen Michael Carrick arrive here at the Carrington training ground this morning. It was still dark when he arrived, with Jonathan Woodgate, his long-time friend and assistant manager, with him at Middlesbrough alongside him in the passenger seat. They arrived at 7:51, ready for their first day at work. And I think United wanted to put the hurry up on this so that everybody was in place for today. Today is the day when all of the Manchester United squad are back, all of the players are back in training, they can hit the ground running. They've got 3 days of training then to prepare for their first game in charge. The small matter of the Manchester derby, live on Sky Sports on Saturday lunchtime. It's a baptism of fire for Michael Carrick and his team, because they've got Arsenal straight up after that as well. But he's here, he's ready, and it'll be interesting to see what sort of message he's got for those players when he finally gets in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely will. And as you mentioned there, obviously it took a while because of these backroom staff, which raised a bit of some eyebrows. Steve Holland in, you mentioned Jonathan Woodgate, Johnny Evans as well has been in and around the club, and Travis Binion. Not a great deal of experience apart from Holland, who's been out of a role for a while. So what are we thinking about the setup around him then?
I think it's really interesting. From Carrick's point of view, I'm told he's delighted because he feels he's got the right combination of experience and people that he knows and trusts and that are loyal to him as well. That's Jonathan Woodgate. That's other members of his backroom staff as well. Johnny Evans, that knows Michael Carrick very well, of course. But Steve Holland is a bit of a coup. And the interesting one there is that nobody knew each other here. This is not a situation where Michael Carrick or Jonathan Woodgate or even Jason Wilcox had any dealings with Steve Holland in the past. But crucially, he was available without compensation and very keen to get involved. And I think it'd be a big day for Steve Holland as well. It's a long time since he's been involved in the day-to-day running of a football club. Of course, we know him most recently as assistant to Gareth Southgate with the England national team, going to 4 major tournaments. But before that, he was absolutely key for Chelsea, employed back in 2009 for them when he got his big break, really. Worked under Andre Villas-Boas, then Roberto Di Matteo, Rafa Benitez, Jose Mourinho, Gus Hiddink, Antonio Conte. Hugely experienced working with these sorts of elite coaches. And so I know he's great on the training field. We know he's very, very good tactically. To have him alongside Michael Carrick, I think, is a real boon for him. And from Manchester United's point of view, Jason Wilcox's point of view, I think they've got a nice balance in that coaching staff, so that coaching setup now, to really take this team forward. Of course, it'll all depend on whether they can get European and hopefully Champions League football. They're out of both cup competitions. There's no European football for Manchester United, so the goal is very singular. We heard Michael Carrick talking about it there. Get European football, get Manchester United as high up the table as you possibly can with a solid Premier League finish, and then the club can move on from there.
You mentioned, didn't you, already, it's going to be a tough start for Carrick and his team with the Manchester derby first. If they do manage to guide United into the Champions League, do you think they have any chance? Does he have a chance of getting the job permanently? What sort of promises do you think will have been made, or what is he aiming for?
There's definitely no promises that have been made, Hayley, and that's important to point out. I was told that when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer met with Jason Wilcox, he understandably, to a large extent, said, look, if I do a good job, if I get you Champions League football, what's the reward? I'd like something written into my contract that says if I achieve that, then there's a substantive contract on offer at the end of it. No such requests from Michael Carrick, significantly. I think he's played a blinder here. I think he's managed the situation very, very well. He knows the best way for him to get the long-term job at Manchester United is to get Champions League football, to win matches, to get the crowd and the Manchester United support behind him. And he's got the perfect opportunity to do that with 17 games of the Premier League remaining. But as things stand right now, I don't think he is a realistic contender for the job long term. I think Manchester United have learned a lesson from appointing Ruben Amorim and Erik ten Hag before him, that they need somebody who is one of the elite of world coaching. They need somebody with a big name who can cope, who has the personality to cope with the size of club that Manchester United is and the unique challenges that it poses. And if you're talking about Thomas Tuchel, Carlo Ancelotti, Roberto De Zerbi, Luis Enrique, for example, maybe Marco Silva, Oliver Glasner, big names that Manchester United, I think, would be able to cope with the size of job that this is. When Amorim was sacked last week, he told his confidants, and we learned at Sky Sports News, that he was just surprised at how much noise there was around the Manchester United role, about how big the job is. I don't think Manchester United will make the same mistake again and appoint an up-and-coming coach. I think they want somebody who's been there and done it. But look, Michael Carrick is the man in possession. He has an opportunity. A horrific start. Manchester City at home, Arsenal away. If they can get some results in those 2 matches, well, there'll be a positive mood, won't there, to take United through for the rest of the season.